Welcome back, everybody, to the KC Sports Report. I'm your host, Michael Darcy, and today I have the great pleasure to be joined by my good friends Josh Fan and Lucas Murphy. Josh Fan is of ShowMeFootball.com, and Lucas Murphy is the beat of Kansas City. And in this video, we're going to talk a little Chiefs-Chargers Week 1 matchup in Brazil. We've previewed this game on this channel, but I wanted to bring these guys on and ask them, what are you going to be looking for the most on Friday night? And Josh, we'll start with you.
So I'm actually really curious to see how the offense looks without Rashee Rice and without Jalen Royals. Even though it's what we were hoping to avoid this year, the attrition is already hitting the wide receiver room. It's something, unfortunately, this team has dealt with the past couple of years. But I think this Chiefs team is much better equipped to absorb those losses at the pass catcher position because I think the wide receiver room is still deep. I still think Tyquan Thornton's going to make an impact. Still really like Hollywood Brown, year 2 of Xavier Worthy. I think everyone's excited, but also the tight ends, Robert Tonyan, Travis Kelce, Noah Gray. I think all those guys are solid options in the receiving game, more than solid, actually. So I want to see what the Chiefs' passing offense looks like despite being without two guys that we thought were going to be heavy contributors this year, and also Rashee Rice is clearly their wide receiver one. That's what I'm going to be watching. I want to see how the pass offense operates, and also I think you have to throw in the fact that the offensive line we hope is going to be better than it was last year.
Lucas?
I'm going to flip over to the other side. My biggest focus is going to be the secondary. I think that obviously we're speaking of attrition and injuries, but also inexperience. Obviously McDuffie is that dude that's going to be over there that's going to be covering, but like after that it's like who really is the guy? Like Christian Fulton we really haven't seen a whole lot of. You know, how Spags is going to incorporate him, and then really like after that you have a lot of young guys. Like is Noah Williams going to get more push for playing time? And so obviously you got Justin Reed leaving, and now Jaden Hicks, Shamari Connor. Like those guys are going to have to step up. Is Brian Cook going to be able to continue playing at a high level? So my area of focus is really just going to be how this defense. Obviously, Nick Bolton's the leader. He's the Patrick Mahomes of this defense, but communication. And I think also just how we really run the defense against a team that likes to run the football, but also has Justin Herbert and having the ability to throw the football. And so that's really where I'm going to be focusing is just how our secondary plays in this first game.
I think you both make excellent points. I'm going to be looking at the field conditions in Brazil because last year it wasn't very good. The Eagles and the Packers played, and it was a complete mess. And so hopefully Brazil has got their stuff figured out this year. Don't want to see any injuries. It'll be interesting to see how the players handled the 11-hour plane ride. I know Jawan Taylor was kind of talking about how he would get on flights and have to drain his knee of fluid later in the week. And so it'll be interesting to see how some of these players with injuries and even just how the players in general acclimate from an 11-hour plane ride. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. And then I'm also going to be looking at the nose tackle position because something that absolutely blew my freaking mind was the Chiefs releasing their starting defensive tackle in Mike Pennell and tried to play a little roster shenanigans and get him on the practice squad. Well, guess what? It didn't work. He signed with the Bengals. And so I think
pissed,
a lot.
I think.
And he's pissed off. And I would be pissed at the Chiefs too. And so what is Derek Nottie going to do as potentially, presumably, the starting defensive tackle on this team opposite of Chris Jones? I'm going to be watching that because, like you said, Lucas, with Najee Harris and Omarion Hampton, the Chargers want to run the football. And Jim Harbaugh, that's his staple. And if the Chiefs can't stop the run, it could be a long night in Brazil. But I think the next question that I want to ask both of you, I asked you kind of what you're going to be looking for. Give me, like, the worst case scenario. What is something that if it went wrong on Friday night, it could spell disaster?
Josh, I'll let you go.
Okay, yeah. So I think if you're looking for something, you know, if you told me the Chiefs, hey, they totally blew it on opening night, I would think the reason is because the left side of the offensive line simply was not ready to go. Really, you know, in Josh Simmons' first career NFL start, but also Kingsley's first start at left guard, because that was something that we saw in the preseason, and no one, I mean, I guess, people talked about it, but the coaching staff didn't really talk about it like it was a problem. Kingsley would look good for 90% of his preseason snaps, but then he would have one or two plays where he would just get blown up or totally got caught lacking. And when that's going on in a very small sample size in the preseason, one drive a game, when you play a full-length NFL game, how many times is that going to happen? And could one eventually lead to Mahomes taking a sack, causing a fumble, or even getting hurt, which I hope doesn't happen?
I kind of have a dual answer, and I'm not trying to be complicated, but I think for me, the 1A is red zone efficiency. And I feel like the last few years, our red zone efficiency hasn't been the best. So I feel like if we continuously get into the red zone and we're only converting in field goals, to kind of piggyback to 1B now, is that defense going to be able to contain the run game, which is what Harbaugh loves to do. They have a fresh Omari and Hampton. And then obviously we know that there's a reason why they went and got Naughty, because we got absolutely ran all over. And I get it, it's a preseason game, but the Seahawks literally ran all over the Kansas City Chiefs in that football game. I think it was close to like 250 yards in rushing. And again, I get it's preseason, but my 1B really is to kind of like, if this game is a disaster, it's because we couldn't stop the offense of the Chargers in a run aspect. They control the clock. They keep Mahomes on the sideline, and we're inefficient in the red zone.
I think those are both really good answers because, they both kind of play alongside each other, both of which are something that we've been looking at all offseason. Obviously, the left side of the line, we've kind of beat that to death, but I'm also kind of with Lucas. I think that the offense, we kind of know what we're going to get if everybody's healthy and does their job. I think that if Mahomes is protected, the offense should function well enough to at least beat the Chargers. I've got a lot of question marks on that defense. I hope the secondary can figure it out because we went into this season thinking that Jaden Hicks was going to be the starter. Doesn't really appear to be like that, at least in week one. And he's still going to play snaps, but I don't really know what the Chiefs' plan is at safety. And we hope that Christian Fulton is healthy and good to go. He missed a lot of this offseason with that, nagging injury. And so I really want to see if this defense can, slow down the Chargers' offense because, I'll be the first one to say it. I don't think the Chargers' offense is that dynamic. If you just look at their pass-catching options, nobody really blows you away. They've got, like, Keenan Allen and, I guess Ladd McConkey's very solid. But outside of McConkey, I don't like Johnson. I don't like, Trey Harris, their, rookie. I feel like the Chiefs aren't going up against the Eagles or the Ravens. This offense should not give them that many fits.
It shouldn't. But I actually have a question for you guys. Not to take over Michael's video, but
no, do it.
I saw a tweet from Chiefs Blitz actually a couple days ago, and it showed the Chiefs' projected starting defensive line from right to left, and it was Mike Dana, Derek Nottie, Chris Jones, and George Karlaftis. And I kind of sat there and thought, does anyone else have a problem with this? Not that these guys can't contribute, but I'm looking at that and thinking to myself, this pass rush wasn't very good last year, and it looks the exact same. Now, granted, they did add Omar Norman-Lott and Ashton Gelati as rookies, and I have a lot of excitement for those two. But they're also rookies, and we know in this league that if you're not getting better, you're getting worse, and I see a lot of the same on the Chiefs' defensive line that was not very good at getting to the quarterback last year with its front four. And we know from watching the NFL that no matter who the quarterback is, no matter who the receivers are, if you can't get to the quarterback, anyone who has time to sit back there will dice you up.
Well, I want to address that question because it's a really good one, and we'll do that right after this ad break. This video is sponsored by my wonderful friends over at DM Injury Law. Injured in an accident, you could be entitled to significant compensation, but time is critical. Rely on the experienced personal injury attorneys at DM Law, Kansas City and Missouri's top injury law firm. DM Law is a full-service personal injury practice supported by a large team of investigators, case managers, medical records specialists, and more. And best of all, you don't pay unless they win. DM Law operates on a contingency fee basis, so no fees unless they win your case. And they also provide free consultations. So if you've been injured, don't wait. You can contact DM Law today for a free consultation and learn how they can help you pursue the compensation you deserve. Let them handle the fight while you focus on healing. Hurt in a car wreck? Call Mike. Remember, Mike's got this. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisement. Thanks to DM Injury Law for sponsoring this video. The Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway is the place to be. With over 1,500 slot machines, 35 table games, 4 restaurants, and a new ESPN Bet sportsbook, there are plenty of ways to find your fun. For more chances to win, follow them on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and X. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Huge thanks to the sponsors that have supported this channel all offseason long. Now, to kind of get back to Josh's question where he laid out the defensive line for the Chiefs and kind of brought up the question, like, are you worried at all about that? I would be, but the Chargers' offensive line is kind of a makeshift offensive line. When Rashawn Slater, their left tackle, went out with that patellar tendon injury, that kind of ruined all of their plans. Now, they signed Mekhi Becton in free agency, but, you know, you've got Trey Pipkins now at right tackle because Joe Alt moved from right to left tackle. And so I feel like they've got a lot of moving pieces that haven't had a ton of time. So I actually think our pass rush will be okay. But Lucas, I want you to answer the question. What are you feeling about this, position group?
Well, and that's kind of, again, that comes back to my focus. And again, it goes back to that secondary. Because if you're doing typically what the Chiefs do at times where, like, we might see Charles Omenihu, Chris Jones kick to the outside, and you're really bringing that pass rush on a third down. My biggest thing is, like, yeah, we might be able to get to the quarterback, Herbert, but the thing is your secondary going to be able to contain the wide receivers while they're trying to get to the quarterback? And so I also think, too, like, game planning from a Chargers perspective, if they're getting the ball out quick and not even giving this defensive front the opportunity to really get to the quarterback, again, it bleeds back to that secondary. Are they going to have the ability to contain the wide receivers, a quick, shifty Ladd McConkey, a guy that's in Johnson who's just a beast of a human being? Like, who's going to be able to climb up that, tower? So I think to kind of really answer your question, I am a little concerned with the defensive line. I think you'll see a lot of kind of plug and play. We're going to see probably some of that spag specialty where, like, we'll get a safety coming off the corner. And I think the defensive line's fine. And one of the things I really mentioned in my video is, Karlaftis, you got paid, buddy. It's time to live up to that money now. Like, you were working towards that to get paid, to show your worth. They saw the opportunity to give you what you thought you're worth. Now go earn that. Like, go show why you got paid. So I think he will disrupt. And I do think I'm not as concerned as much as the pass rush as I am in the effectiveness of what it can cause with the secondary.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point. And so we've kind of addressed this game in multiple different angles. I want to ask you, starting with Josh, what is the final score of this game going to be?
As much as I'm optimistic about this offense, even with the injuries, I'm thinking, especially with it being a divisional game and it being week 1, I'm going to say Chiefs eke out a win in Brazil 21-17.
I'm going 35-21.
Damn, okay. So the offense is back then?
Yeah, I believe that and I've said this in multiple videos that I'm doing, and I'm going to stand by this through the entire year. Mahomes is going to have the best career year he's ever had. I think the dude, so. I mean, the videos that I'm making to really kind of show that, I think, is why. I think the dude has an absolute chip. And I'm not going to drag this out very much longer. If you've watched the ESPN/Disney The Kingdom documentary, the dude was literally working out and pissed off because they lost the Super Bowl. And there's a clip where him and Kelsey are on the sidelines, and Kelsey's like, hey, man, we're going to get back after it. We're going to do this again. He's talking to Spags, and Spags like, we picked the worst day to have a game that just didn't go our way. I think Mahomes literally is going to go beast mode. I think he's going to take every opportunity in every game to just shove it up every team that they play. So I think it's going to be high scoring for the Chiefs.
But I'll tell you what, it's not the craziest prediction because if you just look at the Chargers secondary, yeah, they've got Derwin James, but he's, 50 years old at this point, and, we've seen him go against Travis Kelce, and he's won some and he's lost some, but the rest of their secondary doesn't really impress me, and I think that the Chiefs could absolutely take advantage of a Dante Jackson. Send Xavier Worthy over the top and see if their corners in that zone coverage can contain him. And so, while I don't have it as high scoring, I think this is going to be one of those divisional games that kind of comes down to the wire. It's week 1. They're going to try to figure out kind of getting back into the swing of things. I've said it all week. I think the Chiefs will win 24-21, covering the spread. I think the spread's 3 points. The Chiefs are favored. I think it's going to be a close game, but I also think this is a game similar to most Chiefs games over the past couple years, where they're up in the beginning and the Chargers make it close and the Chiefs pull away. But I also think that offensively, the Chiefs will look a lot more convincing, and even though they only scored 24 points, according to my prediction, I think that once Rashee Rice comes back, and even once you get on, a couple weeks later into the season, I think you'll feel pretty good about the offense. So I think that's really all we have for this mini preview. My final question for both of you is, where can the people find your content? And we'll start with Josh.
You can find me here on YouTube. Channel name is Show Me Football. You can check out my work on ShowMeFootball.com. And then lastly, follow Twitter at ShowMeFB.
Head on over to the Beat of KC YouTube channel and the Beat of KC Twitter. Gonna be a little spicy with a Mizzou KU rivalry showdown, so head over there.
Guys, you guys want to go check out these boys' content. We're gonna be doing stuff all Chiefs season long, so go over to their channel, subscribe, hit that like button, and if you guys enjoy the content that we put out, let us know down in the comment section because we want to continue giving you guys Chiefs content all season long. Hit that like button, subscribe for more daily Chiefs content. Until next time, guys, thank you for watching this video, and as always, go Chiefs.